They want to kill us. They hate us so much, they want to kill us. You're absolutely right. There should be no place in our country for her. She should be deported back to Nigeria post haste.
And of course, the two-tier justice in the United Kingdom is something we now see every single day. But one of the most egregious examples today has truly left me dumbfounded. It's horrifying. So you know Dr. Shola, who is someone who has been on my list of one of the worst Britons in the world for the past 2 years, someone who I actually think hates this country so much, hates the white population so much, simply should not be here. And it doesn't make me racist to say that, it makes me sensible, has now advocated for the execution of the serving MP Rupert Lowe because he's white. Of course, because deep down, she's a terrified little weasel. She's tried to back away from that claim, but it is abundantly clear what she was trying to do. And I'm going to take you through this conversation now. So Rupert Lowe posted, if you're deliberately excluding white people because of their skin colour, then you need to accept an undeniable fact: you're a racist. That was, of course, after the Sarah Poach Reform UK row. Dr. Shola responded, white people do not experience racism at any structural or systemic level of society. White race created racism for the benefit of white people to deny black and brown people an equal value of life and liberty. Caucasity of claiming a false equivalence of racial oppression as whiteness personified, you're a barefaced liar, Rupert Lowe. It then continued when Lowe argued that he didn't think all foreign criminals should be deported. He said, for the most heinous, most horrific, most monstrous, I support restoring the death penalty. That's when Dr. Shola replied, then execute white criminals by death penalty first. See, she's the racist. She is the racist. Rupert Lowe did not say for a single second that he wanted black or brown criminals. He was simply talking about the fact that illegal immigrants who have committed heinous crimes. But she made it about race. And she went on, there are more heinous, horrific and monstrous white criminals than there are foreign criminals. I'm against the death penalty, but for you, Rupert Lowe, I'll gladly make the exception. A clear threat. I think we can all agree that, right? And as Rupert Lowe said, Lucy Connolly was in prison for months over one foolish social media post. Let's see what happens here. Leo Kearse weighed in, saying, Dr. Shong Bong Bing Bamu clearly loathes Britain. She came here by mistake and can't afford to return home. We must prioritise her humanitarian resettlement so she can live amongst people she doesn't relentlessly berate. Honestly, I would put so much money forward to that crowdfunder. Let's get Dr. Shola home. Matt Goodwin added that she was calling for the death of a member of parliament. So to me, this one was very, very clear. You just know if this was Lawrence Fox, if this was Tommy Robinson if this was Katie Hopkins advocating for the execution of Diane Abbott or Dawn Butler or Belle Ribeiro Abbey, there would be hell to pay and they would be arrested. But Rupert Lowe has now been informed by the Met Police that they will not take this further. Dan Wootton Outspoken is available as a podcast too. So to listen or watch us on the go, wherever you are, then please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as a personal favour to me, please rate and review, as it really helps our independence. He said Lucy Connolly was sent to prison. Shola has no action taken. I will pursue this two-tier policing at its finest, prompting Shola to respond, bring it on, Rupert Lowe. Even the Met Police sees through your lie. Not only did I not threaten you with death penalty, I don't care about you. You're so desperate to be a victim. Ha! Coming from the ultimate victim. I departed from my principled stance against death penalty for you if you execute white British criminals first, following your call to execute foreign criminals. You're just another racist, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic bigot who weaponizes the public office to incite hate. Carry on. Well, of course, I was very clear on this. Dr. Shola is the racist here. Dr. Shola is the anti-white race baiter. And we've got to start acknowledging that. So she then responded to me, writing, "Hey, dumbass Dan Wootton, it's better to keep your mouth shut and appear stupid than open it and remove your doubt. Your comprehension of the English language is sorely lacking, but I expect no less from intellectual dishonest frauds like you. Making an exception for Rupert Lowe by agreeing to depart from my principled stance against the death penalty as long as he executes white British criminals first, who are more heinous and monstrous than foreign criminals, isn't calling for execution of Rupert Lowe. It's calling out his duplicity and double standards. You walking, talking oppressor masquerading as a victim." On a lighter note, do I finally make number one of your UK most hated list? I was offended I came third last time. And to be honest, you're making a good go of it, love. But as I say, I want you on the plane. I want you out. I want you out because you are going to spark a race war, and that is what you are trying to do. And the thing that sickens me, let me bring my superstar panel in, Preston Bates and Father Calvin Robinson. Preston, the thing that sickens me is this is a woman who has the red carpet rolled out to her by the mainstream media. Good Morning Britain, Jeremy Vine. She's an extremist.
You know, we saw all of this during COVID when BLM happened in the United States. And when I step back and think about the race war that they're desperate to launch because that's their only idea to divide and conquer us, it just tells me how desperate they are, how bad their ideas are, how they've given up completely on the idea of a social contract and good governance. And it tells me that if they're this thirsty to cart out some retard racist and try to make us all feel bad by using the racist word, which has no impact anymore. I mean, you have people like Nick Fuentes who are saying, if racist means that I'm not going to get stabbed and I'm going to have a nice home and a nice area to live in, fine, call me a racist. And like, that's very popular with almost all Gen Z and almost all the millennials. It's catching on with X. It's really the white boomers who are the last to kind of catch on here. But I mean, these people have completely missed the boat. And the moment politically has shifted so much that I see people like this lady, Dr. Shola, she's not really a doctor, in my opinion, of really anything except for hate, as just a desperate attempt to create more vitriol to distract from the fact that the government project of big government has failed. And these people don't have any ideas. And so they just want to rile us all up so that they can increase the authoritarianism. And as long as we don't get into that, we still win.
Yeah, I mean, very true. Father Calvin, the idea, though, that she's the good guy, it's like, when is the mainstream media going to acknowledge the truth? That actually people like her on the hard left, and of course we saw it all weekend long, Father Calvin, with the Islamist hate marches on our streets as well, are the true evil, are the true racists. But first, let's be honest, here in Britain, what passes for journalism today is little more than politically charged activism with a headline slapped on top. Truth gets buried under layers of spin, agenda, and algorithm-driven narratives. That's why I turn to Ground News. It cuts straight through the noise and shows you what actually is happening. Ground News brings together headlines from over 50,000 sources across the globe, but what really makes it powerful is the transparency. You don't just see the stories, you see the political bias behind every source, like the ownership ties, the coverage breakdown across the spectrum. It's brilliant. Even the Nobel Peace Center praised it as an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. And my favorite feature is its blind spot feed because it shows you which stories are trending on one side of the aisle but barely mentioned on the other. It's the clearest way to see media bias in action. So here's an example of a story barely gaining any traction on the right. In an interview with The Times, Nigel Farage said he will not cut taxes until spending is reduced, abandoning his £90 billion pledge. He's expected to deliver a major speech next month promising £350 billion in cuts to public services and the civic service. And here's one the left is completely ignoring. You have to see it for yourself. Starmer has emphasised the need for the UK to assist in monitoring the ceasefire as questions remain about the future in Gaza. Seeing every side of the news like this is exactly why Ground News exists, and right now you can get 40% off the Vantage plan, which gives you unlimited access to all the features I personally use for less than a cup of coffee. Just visit ground.news/outspoken, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code. Over 1 million people have downloaded Ground News and use it to stay informed. Join them and subscribe today at ground.news/outspoken. But now, back to the show.
Yeah, Dr. Shola has had a pop at me many times over the years. I think I blocked her a while ago because she's just an anti-white racist, and I don't like racists. But Preston's quite right. She's not actually a doctor. I remember someone, I think it was Dr. Rakib Ehsan, tried to do research into her doctorate, couldn't find it. It's like the Nigerian princess thing that she's got going on. Also interesting that her family were actually slavers, not the victims of slavery. A lot of people don't know that. She's just massive grifter, and it's the worst kind of grift because she's literally dividing our country with her racial propaganda. And the problem with it all is that she clearly hates the country she's in and hates the people of the country. Her message to Rupert Lowe that she doesn't believe in the death penalty, but she'd make an exception for him. He's not a criminal. He's done nothing wrong. Why would you make an exception for him? This is the problem with the left, with the liberals, with the evil side. They want to kill us. They hate us so much they want to kill us. You're absolutely right. There should be no place in our country for her. She should be deported back to Nigeria post haste. This is the thing. We should have the death penalty. Absolutely. These people like the rapists and the violent abusers, the chap who raped a girl after 8 days in the country, they should be hanged. The rest of them should be deported. People like Shola Alabola, whatever her name is. I like Leo Kurtz's tweet on her, absolutely spot on. And the problem is that these people are not welcome in our country. They don't like our country. They don't like the people of our country, and they make everything about race. Sometimes race does come into it. Black people, for example, make up 4% of the demographics of Great Britain, yet 45% of the knife crime in London. Almost 20% of all violent crime in the country. Like, this is over-representation. This is disproportionate. This is clearly an issue with a particular demographic that needs to be addressed. Much like Pakistani Mohammedans make up, 5% of the demographics, yet 65% of child sexual abuse. Again, clearly there's an issue there that needs to be addressed. My solution will be, okay, no more Pakistani Muslims in the country. Done. Close the border to that particular area. Fine. We have to be unafraid of the word racism, and we have to face these problems head on and solve it. Otherwise, our country will continue to go down the pan.
Preston, could you believe those scenes in East London over the weekend? I mean, I actually think Nigel Farage was right when he said it was like an invading army. And I went looking, because again, you can't trust the mainstream media on this. They want to present these dudes as if they're peacemakers. But I actually went and looked at the Islamist independent media. And I mean, Preston, they're saying the quiet bit out loud, right? That they're not hiding it. It's like, we're here for a takeover and we're here to impose Sharia law. That's what you hear in the Islamist independent media.
And that's why I want to go back quickly to a point that Father Robinson and I were disagreeing about whether or not it's too late and whether or not people will wake up or whether or not they'll fight. I mean, I'm no fan of Nigel Farage. InfoWars is no fan of Nigel Farage. You're no fan of Nigel Farage. But even Nigel Farage has finally had to have a come to Jesus moment. Reform has had to have a come to Jesus moment. The party is drifting further and further right. The comments that you just referenced reflect that. And so, if we don't have civil government and civil society as a lever to peacefully take back and respond to these assaults, these waves of assault, of globalism, of transnational capture of democratic institutions, then we're left with literally violence. That's it. So I don't think we can afford to be blackpilled entirely. And I think the example in America about what democratic election can look like when it's executed and how fast things can change when there's the willpower and the leadership and the competence should be an emblematic example to the rest of the West to say, stop being guilt tripped, stop listening to fake doctors, Shola, who's trying to make us feel guilty and forget our glory and our strength and our amazingness. Grab the reins of government back and let's make some change and do so peacefully. Otherwise, we actually will devolve into a 1920s style German situation where you have the true far right and the far left fighting, and then those of us who want civil society.
And the more that they go down the path of calling Tommy Robinson a member of the far right, the more they're actually encouraging that type of division.
Exactly.
But look, while I did praise Nigel Farage in terms of his comments to do with the invading Islamist army, I was very disappointed to see him throw Sarah Pochen under the bus. Father Calvin, you're used to this with Mr. Farage, so I wanted to get your reaction, but this is what he said.
Pochen used in response to a caller into talk radio on Saturday morning were without ugly and taken on their own could be read to be very, very unpleasant indeed. I am unhappy with what she has done. I can't underestimate that, and she fully knows how I feel. The way she put it, the way she worded it, was wrong and was ugly.
Oh, Father Calvin, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed because that has a chilling effect. It was very similar to what Nigel had to say about you and Lawrence Fox after our respective departures from GB News. And what it does is it says to everyone in Reform UK, be careful. Be careful, because I'm going to turn at you at any point. Even though Sarah Pochin was expressing, maybe inartfully, but expressing what the vast majority of Reform UK members and voters believe.
He's such a pillock, honestly. I'm not like other girls. It's so wet. I'm tired of it. I'm sure other people must be tired of it too. Like, he just so badly wants to be liked. He puts distance between himself and everyone else at all times. I'm not like that. They're the racists, not me. Look, just own it and say, look, and be loyal to your people. And it's stand by people and stand up for people. It's just, there's no word for it other than wet. It's massively disappointing. Every single time he gets an opportunity to stand up for his people, he throws them under the bus to protect himself. To who? The left already hate him. They will always hate him. He's not going to appease them. He keeps wanting to feed the crocodile to be the last one eaten. They're already trying to eat him. Wake up, Nigel, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It was very, very disappointing. Preston, were you?
100%. I mean, we've reported InfoWars on Nigel Farage for a long time. I don't know anyone who works there who's a big fan of his. America finally has strong leadership. That's what we want to set as an example for the West. This country desperately needs strong leadership, and many people would be hard pressed to say that Nigel Farage is a strong backbone that this country needs to get it out of its dire straits.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.